So let's define a sequence f of n such that f of 1 is equal to 1, f of 2 is equal to root 3 over 3, and f of n is equal to f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2, all over 1 minus f of n minus 1 times f of n minus 2. So we are to find the absolute value of f of 2009. Now the first thing I want to bring up is the tangent addition formula. So the tangent of a plus b is equal to the tangent of a plus the tangent of b, all over 1 minus the tangent of a times the tangent of b. Now you might notice that this looks very similar to this, where we have addition in the numerator and 1 minus multiplication in the denominator. So we can actually substitute f of n minus 1 and f of n minus 2 into this equation. So we have the tangent of f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2 is then equal to f of n, which is also equal to f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2, all over 1 minus f of n minus 1 times f of n minus 2. So now we can define a new recursive sequence. Let's let g of n be equal to the arctan of f of n. And now we notice that the tangent of x has a period of 180 degrees, and so we can take g of n mod 180. And so substituting the values of g of n into f of n will then give us g of n is congruent to g of n minus 1 plus g of n minus 2 mod 180. So now let's convert the values of f of 1 and f of 2 into values for g. So first we know that the arctan of 1 is equal to 45 degrees. We also know that the arctan of root 3 over 3, so the arctan of root 3 over 3 is equal to 30 degrees as well. And so finally we have g1 is equal to 45 and g2 is equal to 30. So now let's move this to the top and then try to solve for g2009. And so now let's start solving for the values of g3, g4, g5, and so on. So g3 will be equal to 45 plus 30, which is equal to 75. Now g4 will be 105, g5 will be 180, which is equal to 0, g6 will be equal to 105, g7 will be equal to 105 as well, g8 will be equal to 210 or 30, g9 will be equal to 135, g10 will be equal to 165, g11 will be 135 plus 165, which is equal to 300 or 120, so g11 is 120. g12 will be equal to 165 plus 120, which is 285, so that gives us 105. g13 will then be 225, or just 45. g14 will be equal to 150. g15 will be equal to 195, or 15. g16 will be equal to 165. g17 will be equal to 0, g18 will be equal to 165, g19 will be equal to 165, g20 will be equal to 330 or 150, g21 will be 315 or just 135, g22 will be equal to 285 or just 105. Now, g23 will be equal to 240 or just 60, g24 will be equal to 165, and now g25 will be equal to 225 or just 45, and g26 will be equal to 210 or just 30. Now notice that g1 and g2 have the same values as g25 and g26, and so this has a cycle of 24. Now this might seem like a lot of addition, but one thing you could have done is divided everything by 15 and then taken everything mod 12. It would have been a lot easier to do, but since I'm comfortable with addition, I don't mind doing this. And so now we take 2009 mod 24. So 2009 mod 24 is then equal to 17. You can test this by doing some long division. And since g17 is equal to 0, we now know that g2009 is equal to 0. And we also know from earlier that g of n is equal to the arctan of f of n. And so the value of f of 2009 will be equal to the tangent of 0, which is equal to 0, and the absolute value of 0 is equal to 0. And so 0 is our answer, and we are done. Alright, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you next time.